Jared Floyd.
Almanac from today, 91 the afternoon high, right where we should be this time of year. 1 degree cooler than the afternoon high, statistical average, and 1 degree warmer than the statistical average low of 70. So right on the money for this time of year. We'll look for lows tonight to eventually fall back into the low end of the 70s. Low 90s tomorrow, but scattered storms could return through the afternoon and even some stronger storms later in the day. We'll talk more about those in just a little bit. That's forecast first. Fox 14 News at 9 starts right now.
From Fox 14, the right news at the right time, and the Spirit of Community Award winner. This is Fox 14 News at 9.
A woman hit in the crosswalk by a driver accused of texting. It's a tragic lesson about keeping your eyes off the phone and on the road. And the arrests keep coming in the case of the teen who broke out of Green Oaks. We'll break down the timeline and tell you who else is behind bars and why. Plus, former Secretary of State is telling Louisiana to show him the money. How much is he asking the state to fork over and why he thinks he's entitled to it? Well, thank you for choosing Fox 14. I'm Chelsea Jones. Sarah is back tomorrow. First on Fox, a woman is suffering major injuries after a vehicle hit her as she crossed a street in Camden. Fox 14's Gabrielle Pfeiffer spoke with folks who say drivers have to obey the signs and pay attention to the road.
A Camden woman made a routine walk through this trail, but this time she never made it home.
Miss McElroy had already entered the intersection and was pretty much through the intersection when the incident occurred.
Witnesses at the scene described hearing the impacts of McElroy being hit and watching her go airborne.
And it's just clearly right there where it says pedestrians walking and to yield. It tells you that right there on the sign.
According to reports, the driver's eyes were on everything but the road. Officers and witnesses claim the driver was texting and driving. It's an epidemic that happens way too often and almost cost a woman her life.
And as drivers, it's our duty to obey the sign and to pay attention in those crosswalks.
Fox 14 actually witnessed drivers not yielding to those trying to get across.
So, I mean, see, bless him, he's trying to cross the road.
The victim now has 2 broken legs, a broken pelvis, and a number of internal injuries. It will be months before she will ever get to walk again.
It's not worth your life or someone else's to send that text. Put your phone up.
The Camden Police Department is raising funds for the victim to help with her medical expenses. If you would like to help, contact the department and find out more ways that you can give. Reporting in Camden, Gabrielle Pfeiffer, Fox 14 News.
The driver was arrested at the scene but has since bonded out. She's charged with failure to yield to a pedestrian, no proof of insurance, reckless driving, and texting while driving. New at 9, a Department of Transportation and Development worker is dead after a crash. We want to warn you, the details are disturbing. It happened on LA Highway 563 just south of I-20 in Simsboro. State police say 50-year-old Johnny Cole of West Monroe was standing behind a parked tractor trailer when it was hit by 42-year-old Michael Moore. Moore was driving an 18-wheeler and didn't notice the DOTD truck stopped in the road. Moore was unable to stop and struck Cole before hitting the back of the tractor trailer. Cole was pronounced dead at the scene. Moore was cited for careless operation, and the crash remains under investigation. Well, new video released Monday by prosecutors may prove Holden Matthews, the 21-year-old, accused of burning down 3 churches, sent videos to his friends of him during the act. The videos show Matthews setting fire to the St. Mary Baptist Church with captions that read, "We did it." In a detention hearing, prosecutors argued that Matthews is a danger to the community and should remain in federal custody. Matthews has been indicted on federal hate crime charges of using fire to commit a felony and of intentional damage to religious property. He also faces state hate crime and arson charges. Well, 2 more women face charges tied to Brandon Caleb McLean's 5 days on the run from Green Oaks Detention Center, both accused of providing shelter or aid to McLean and another juvenile offender after the escape. Fox 14's Maya Hudgens explains how deputies believe these pieces fit into the puzzle.
It all started when Caleb McLean and an unnamed juvenile escaped from Green Oaks Detention Center around 6 p.m. on Saturday, June 8th. According to court documents, they went to Stewart's Grocery on Jackson Street. This is where Amy Hubbard, McLean's mother, was called to come pick them up. Hubbard drove them to an address that belonged to Shelley Courant, the mother of the other juvenile. Last Monday, the 10th, 3 vehicles were burglarized in the Northwood Trailer Park. Surveillance footage shows 2 unidentifiable males exiting a vehicle. The next day, officers started investigating, believing they were the 2 escapees. Amy Hubbard was arrested on failure to appear for a former warrant on Tuesday the 11th. Later, she was charged with assisting escape. Wednesday the 12th, Mackenzie Connor told police that Caleb's father, Brian McLean, dropped him off at her house where they both got into her car. The gas station behind me is where Caleb McLean went to go pick up some money from some friends. However, that did not happen whenever he saw police officers in the parking lot. The chase began down Cypress Street going westbound. The pursuit continued on to Kendallwood Drive where deputies say McLean fired multiple shots and eventually crashed. He then fled on foot in the car where 2 passengers, one being Mackenzie Connor. Thursday the 13th, Caleb was finally captured around 5 and his father arrested around 9. It wasn't until Friday the 14th that unnamed juvenile was arrested. Sunday the 16th, documents allege that McLean admitted to vehicle burglaries, saying that he was looking for money, guns, cigarettes, and anything valuable. Finally, Monday the 17th, Shelley Courant was arrested for accessory after the fact. Documents say she gave a phone to her child so they could talk. Mackenzie Connor was also arrested for the same charge. Documents allege she allowed Caleb McLean to stay at her residence for a couple of days.
Was Maya Hudgens reporting. Now, there hasn't been word on deputies expecting more arrests in that case. Well, the $30 billion budget Louisiana lawmakers passed earlier this month is now state law. Governor John Bel Edwards signed the spending plan this afternoon at Capitol Elementary School in Baton Rouge. Shaking hands with educators and students, he hailed a landmark of the budget bill. It includes $1,000 pay raises for public teachers and another $500 a school year for school support staff.
I can only think about where we were 3-4 years ago. And it would have been absolutely impossible for us to have a budget that is as sound as this one and that is making these types of strategic investments that we certainly need.
The budget takes effect July 1st. It will provide more money for K-12 schools, colleges, early learning programs, and health services. Meantime, our Northeast delegation of lawmakers discuss what's in that $30 billion budget for our area. While several, including the governor, are calling the budget conservative, one lawmaker says they did nothing to address the budget shortfall that's been predicted for next year.
We have over 1,400 bridges in this highway district. 207 of them are either posted or out. Now, you wonder why we wanted to create a $40 million pool of money to help with that. Let me tell you, that's public safety for those folks that live in that area.
Senator Fannin represents District 35. He says money secured to help move the Kansas Lane Connector project forward will also go towards other infrastructure projects. Well, in other legislative news, Louisiana law enforcement officials are adjusting to the Raise the Age law enacted last March. It allows 17-year-olds to now be tried as juveniles rather than adults. Attorneys say more workers are needed to deal with the influx of young offenders. Assistant Attorney Johnny Sanders says finding the right treatments and programs could help juveniles from getting into any other further crimes.
Find alternatives, if you've never had trouble before, if you're a first offender, maybe even a second offender for something nonviolent. And we have diversion programs that we want to try to get people help in and keep them out of the adult system. And we're going to do the same thing for the 17-year-olds.
At 9:30, hear from local attorneys who are currently working on that transition and what locals have to say about the new law. Well, Louisiana's former Secretary of State, Tom Shedler, says he wants the state to pay up and reimburse him $32,000 for settlement costs. Shedler resigned last year amid sexual harassment allegations. Louisiana has already paid $184,000 in this case, and Shedler dished out over $18,000 of his own money. Now he's arguing that the state didn't provide him individual defense in the case, and he wants them to pay. Well, AT&T is putting up some of its money into Grambling State's cybersecurity program. The News Star reports AT&T has created a $25,000 scholarship for Grambling students. The contribution will support Grambling's continual leadership in STEM fields and specifically cybersecurity students. Grambling is the first university in Louisiana to offer a bachelor's degree in cybersecurity. The historically black college is Louisiana's top producer of African-American computer science graduates. AT&T joins a list of growing companies and public entities investing in Grambling's new program. This year, Grambling has received investments from Louisiana Economic Development and IBM. Well, the Medical Center of South Arkansas is making it easier for patients to see their medical records whenever they choose. Patients can now use the Health Records app on their iPhones as a one-stop shop for their medical records. They have the option of viewing records from their MCSA hospitals and clinics and records from multiple providers. Hospital officials say patients will now have more convenience, more information, and more control over their health care.
I feel like if the information is with them and they are in a crisis or an emergency, they'll be able to show that information to whichever facility or physician's office that they arrive at.
Health records data is protected with the user's passcode, Touch ID, or Face ID. Well, coming up on Fox 14, the opening of the Bonnie Carey spillway causing a major headache for some coastal fishermen. We explain what's happened and we'll share Governor Edwards' response. And a stolen surveillance camera keeps live streaming as a suspect takes off with it. You won't believe who's behind bars for stealing it. That and more when Fox 14 continues.
News sponsored by Twin City Outdoor Equipment. The NBC 10 Fox 14 Founders Day Food Drive for Homeless Veterans was a great success, with over 16 tons of food collected in the past 2 years, thanks to our generous community and these devoted partners: the United Way of Northeast Louisiana, the Wellspring, Max Fresh Market, Banner Ford, Jackson Street Church of Christ, and First United Methodist Church in Monroe. Plus, much appreciation to these restaurants for donating food for our volunteers. From all of us at NBC 10 and Fox 14, thank you.
It's spring cleaning time at Bobby Williamson Flooring and Home Improvement.
Wood-look ceramic tile, $149. Waterproof vinyl plank, $239 or $269. 18 by 18 porcelain tile, just 99 cents.
All with 12-month no-interest financing at Bobby Williamson.
Have damage from recent storms? Energy Savers of America can get the job done, help filing claims, and guide you through the insurance process. We have the knowledge to help you with all your roofing needs.
Hi, I'm Jason Smith, owner of Energy Savers of America. Give us a call today and come home to quality.
I'm Charles Hogan with the Hogan Agency, specializing in insurance, bonding, and safety services, supporting individuals, families, and businesses. Visit us on Ask the Experts on myarclemis.com.
Imagine coconut sandwiches. Or maybe vanilla cream puff pudding pops.
Now, I'm partial to your chocolate fudge bars, but you need butterscotch.
Your new banana pops are fabulous. Kiwi would be even better.
Our 12-pack snacks are sure to satisfy almost every craving, any day of the week.
I love Sunday cups so much, I eat them on Monday, and Tuesday, and Wednesday.
Big disgrace, waving your banner. We will.
Get 0 for 72 and $2,500 in total savings on F-150, plus $750 appreciation cash for military and first responders.
It's spring cleaning time at Bobby Williamson Flooring and Home Improvement.
80-ounce plush carpet, $180. 3x6 subway tile, $239. Sheet vinyl starting at just 69 cents.
All with 12-month no-interest financing at Bobby Williamson.
Fox 14 News at 9 continues.
Louisiana's fisheries keep feeling the strain with levels on the Mississippi River still high. The woes are prompting the governor to request federal help. NBC Local 33's Harrison Golden explains why the seafood industry is hardly out of the water.
Mississippi River is the busiest waterway in the United States, incredibly important to the national economy.
And when Midwestern waters trickle down, floating the Mississippi south to Louisiana, a seafood economy feels a dry spell.
Over the last 5 years, disasters are costing the Mississippi River economy close to 3% annually.
This year's heavy rains have diluted the river's salt water, killing oysters and driving away shrimp that fisheries would otherwise grab and sell. Preliminary reports from the state's Department of Wildlife and Fisheries count oyster catches at 80% below average this year. Shrimp landings down 63%.
We're seeing our fisheries tremendously impacted.
The governor's penned a letter to Commerce Secretary Wilbur Ross, asking federal officials to declare a fisheries disaster in Louisiana.
And as soon as we have all of the data that we need, and we're continuing to collect that through the Department of Wildlife and Fisheries, we will be formally presenting that to NOAA for that declaration.
A declaration would let Congress send money to fishing communities hit by the high freshwaters, just as the federal government did last June after Hurricanes Harvey, Irma, and Maria.
If they're able to, they can go ahead and get a head start on the assistance that we're going to need here for our fishermen.
Unfortunately, they're going without a paycheck when they're not out on the water. So any kind of assistance we can get from the federal level would be a huge help to them.
State fishery officials say Louisiana's share of the Mississippi could stay high through summer, with troublesome seafood conditions likely weeks past that.
Now, Louisiana isn't the only state looking at federal action on fisheries. Mississippi's governor made a similar appeal to Commerce Secretary Wilbur Ross late last month. Caught on camera, a Houghton man is accused of breaking into his neighbor's home and stealing a surveillance camera that kept recording. Here, you see a man entering the garage of a home. The man proceeds to take a paintbrush and the surveillance camera. Fast forward, the burglar takes the camera home while the camera is still recording. Deputies identified the man as Franklin E. Wellswalker, Jr. Deputies say the homeowner was able to identify him in that video.
In this case, it was the guy's neighbor. He knew who he was based on his image. Let's say it was somebody from another part of town. Then you really need good surveillance video to see who it was. And that's why it's so important to get a good system, good quality, and make sure you know how to operate it.
Deputies say when they made contact with Wellsbacher and explained to him how they saw him on camera, he returned the items. They say Wellsbacher told them he had a conversation with his neighbor who says he had given him permission to borrow that paintbrush. I don't know if I believe that, Jerry.
Probably didn't give him the permission to borrow the surveillance camera.
Exactly.
That's probably where things got a little confused.
Good thing it was still rolling, or he may have never known what happened.
I would have loved for him just to pick it up and be like, ha, 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 they'll never know. I'll take it back to such and such Elm Street, and and they would just walk to his house and be like, hey, man, give it back. Anyway, forecast coming up next.
And Fox 14, a new way to repair a wound. Here's a hint, it's sticky and it can be used on internal and external wounds. The details coming up.
Hey, that's Greg, the Go Auto guy. Hey, Greg, can you really save us money on our car insurance?
You bet I can. Let's compare rates and get a quote. Just answer a few simple questions. Call to get a quote, go online, or come into any Go Auto store.
Wow, you can save me money. I want in.
So just give us a call.
Who is that?
Only my new best friend.
Ready, steady, go, go, go on,
Up for anything? Nissan is. And Nissan SUVs have advanced tech to help guide you to the perfect spot. Stay connected. And take any trail. Nissan SUVs. Up for whatever you are. For a limited time, save up to $3,500 or get a low $199 per month lease on the 2019 Rogue.
Just imagine enjoying the outdoors with no mosquitoes. This is possible. Just call me, Paul Cooper, with Cooper Home Installation, and let the screen room man keep you and your family safe from those pesky bugs and mosquitoes. Call and I will meet you at your house and give you a free estimate so that you can start enjoying your backyard again. It's as easy as that. Nobody in this area has installed more screen rooms than me. And remember, when you hire me, I'll be there.
I'm Dr. Marshall Sanson of Sanson Family Medicine in West Monroe, Louisiana. We're not just a family practice clinic. We're also a 7-day-a-week walk-in clinic.
If your doctor is too busy to see you today, come see us.
From coughs to colds to urinary tract infections, we're open 7 days a week so that we can take care of you today.
Our family taking care of your family. Sanson Family Medicine.
Russell, Russell, Russell.
Is the open road calling your name? Some guys were born truck drivers. Be trained and certified in just 16 days. Classes are available to get you on the path to your new career. CDL training, third-party testing, safety training, job placement, and financing available. See the world and get paid for doing it. Don't let life pass you by. Call Coastal right now. Exit 101 in Calhoun.
For nearly 100 years,
Entergy has powered our stories.
Stories of hope, triumph, resilience.
1.3 million customers. More than 5,000 Louisiana employees.
Each one a story.
From rebuilding marshlands
to opening new doors for students.
Entergy ensures that all of our stories shine brighter.
Because together,
we power life.
Live Storm Tracker Doppler radar, sponsored by bankruptcy attorney E. Orem Young. Now, Storm Tracker weather with Chief Meteorologist Jared Floyd.
Look at the new live Storm Tracker Doppler radar brought to you by E. Orem Young. Nothing doing around the radar site. Clear skies. A little bit of light rainfall across the eastern parishes along the Mississippi Valley earlier today. Most of that rained itself out pretty quickly. And the loop over our area over the last hour doesn't really show a whole lot in the region, and not expecting much as we head through the overnight. Expecting mainly clear skies, and the clouds start to ramp up tomorrow. First wave of thunderstorms moving through the Ozarks. We had a tornado warning with this southernmost storm as it moved just to the north of Tulsa in the last half hour or so. And we also have a bevy of severe thunderstorm warnings with a lot of this activity planted back out into western Texas. This is a part of a frontal system that will eventually move into our area tomorrow, and it will eventually bring a lot of this activity along with it. Not in this current form. It will look a lot different, and it's actually going to come with another round of thunderstorms tomorrow. So future tracker shows kind of the leftovers of whatever we can develop tonight will spill into our area tomorrow late morning into early afternoon, and that's kind of round one of some scattered showers and thunderstorms. Most of that would be moving through during the most stable point in the morning hours, and then as we work through the afternoon, we really haven't gathered a lot of instability in the atmosphere. So most of this first wave of storms likely won't be severe. Maybe some small hail, maybe some lightning, but that's about it. Then we expect, as the frontal system itself moves into place and the upper level disturbance deepening associated with this moves overhead, that we could expect some more organized thunderstorms later tomorrow night, 9, 10, 11 o'clock, maybe to midnight, maybe even into the early morning hours of Thursday. Now, future trackers actually advertising a pretty organized line of thunderstorms, and if this were to verify, which is not completely out of the question for it to do so, especially how unstable the atmosphere will be during that time frame, there will be the possibility of some damaging wind gusts and some isolated large hail. And as with most severe weather threats in our area, you can't rule out an isolated tornado either. So even though we're moving into late June, there will be a slight risk for severe weather tomorrow. Again, most of this in the northern 2/3 or 4/5 of the Arklamis, and then it becomes a little bit more marginal risk, the lowest of the 5 categories, farther southward. And that's as we dig deeper into the pre-dawn hours on Thursday, the atmosphere starts to stabilize a little bit. We lose a lot of the energy in the atmosphere, and the storms should start weakening as they move farther south of the Arklamis. So again, have multiple ways of receiving severe weather alerts. This could be a late night event. It could down some trees, maybe cause some power outages, stuff like that, depending on how organized those storms can get tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening. Upper 70s to right at 80, still very warm, very muggy, and that also helps to feed the atmosphere for any potential thunderstorms tomorrow. Lows tonight will drop into the low 70s. Your mowing forecast, well, the next 2 days are probably no-goes, and then once we get later in the week, rain stays isolated, but yeah, you should be able to get some stuff done at least. 93 for a high tomorrow. As I mentioned, those scattered storms remain possible. Look at the rest of the forecast. Shows the rain chances breaking up as we head into the weekend, but they will stay at least isolated in nature through the first of next week with highs in the low to mid-90s. And I guess piggybacking off of the mowing forecast, if you have outdoor plans, make sure you stay hydrated because the heat and humidity will be a bear, especially if you don't run into rain over the next couple of days.
Okay, so how worried should we be? On a scale of 1 to 10?
Really, just be alert and have a way of receiving those alerts. You should be fine.
All right, well, thank you so much, Jared. Coming up on Fox, Boston is taking a stand against an alarming statistic that shows 1 out of 5 girls skip school during that time of the month. We'll have their newest initiative. And a spinach recall after traces of listeria is found. We'll examine the effects and what consumers should do when Fox 14 returns.
If you're going to make one call, make it count. Call Creed & Creed today.
I'm behind on payments, and I'm afraid they're going to garnish my paycheck. What do I do?
Stay calm and call Sam. Let's stop the garnishments before they start, because bankruptcy isn't what we do. It's all we do. Call Sam.
Where can you find the largest pre-owned inventory in Northeast Louisiana? RyanAutomotive.com. Where can you buy a high-quality pre-owned car, truck, or SUV with low upfront, no-hassle pricing? RyanAutomotive.com. Ryan Automotive is your pre-owned headquarters. Hundreds in stock, thousands in savings. Pre-owned vehicles for every lifestyle, every budget. Ruston to Rayville, Bastrop to Columbia. Come see why more used car shoppers are buying at Ryan. Ryan Automotive in Monroe. RyanAutomotive.com. Ryan Automotive, your pre-owned headquarters. Where can you find the largest pre-owned inventory in Northeast Louisiana? RyanAutomotive.com. Where can you buy a high-quality pre-owned car, truck, or SUV with low upfront, no-hassle pricing? RyanAutomotive.com. Ryan Automotive is your pre-owned headquarters. Hundreds in stock, thousands in savings. Pre-owned vehicles for every lifestyle, every budget. Ruston to Rayville, Bastrop to Columbia. Come see why more used car shoppers are buying at Ryan. Ryan Automotive in Monroe. RyanAutomotive.com. Ryan Automotive, your pre-owned headquarters.
Honda was named the 2019 Best Overall Brand and Best Value Brand by Kelley Blue Book. So when you buy a Honda, you're getting an amazing vehicle for an amazing value. More amazing than Toyota, Ford, and Subaru. Come into your local dealership today and get a great deal on an amazing Honda.
To take my car. What do I do?
Before the repo man pays you a visit, call Sam. Sam can help you protect your assets and get back items already taken. Bankruptcy isn't what we do. It's all we do. Call Sam.
Fox 14 News at 9 continues.
This Friday is the first official day of summer, and all week we are helping you keep safe during the season. The warmer temps make it an ideal time to fire up the grill or enjoy a family picnic. Meredith Wood is helping you prevent any foodborne illnesses while dining in today's Health Minute.
You want your summer to be full of sun and fun, not food poisoning.
When we sit food outside, when it's exposed to high temperatures, or even when it's just out for long periods of time inside, the temperatures can basically create a petri dish for the proliferation of bacteria.
Keep 4 simple things in mind when preparing to eat outside. First, clean. Make sure you're washing your hands with soap and water, as well as keeping the grill and all surfaces clean. Next, separate.
Don't put raw meat anywhere next to anything else you're preparing.
And when packing for a picnic, keep foods and drinks in 2 different coolers. Also,
make sure you cook meat all the way through thoroughly.
Get that food thermometer out of the drawer and use it. 165 degrees Fahrenheit for poultry, 160 for burgers. And finally, let go of the leftovers.
If any foods have been unrefrigerated for more than 2 hours, throw them out.
That time is cut down to 1 hour if it's hotter than 90 degrees outside. For today's Health Minute, I'm Meredith Wood.
New medical advances could change the way wound care is done. A glue gun could replace sutures, stitches, and staples, and it could speed up healing time. Researchers at the Technon Israel Institute of Technology have developed a device that can insert a strong, non-toxic tissue adhesive into a wound. The glue works directly on internal and external surfaces, maintains flexibility, and adapts to body heat. The glue can be peeled off once skin below has regenerated, and researchers hope it can replace traditional wound closure methods. The polymer is FDA approved and could be market ready in 2 or 3 years. Well, Boston Public Schools is making menstrual supplies available to its female students at no cost. According to a survey by feminine hygiene brand Always, 1 in 5 girls miss school because they don't have access to tampons or pads. Boston schools hope to avoid this by making menstrual supplies available at school nurse offices in all schools, starting in the 6th grade. After a pilot program, teachers will also be allowed to hand out products. New York and Illinois have similar laws, and Boston's program will start in the fall. On to a consumer alert. Sprouts Farmer Market is recalling a frozen spinach after finding traces of listeria. Both the regular and organic versions have been pulled from stores after the company found bacteria in its random testing. No illnesses have been reported from eating the contaminated spinach, but listeria can cause fever, severe headaches, as well as miscarriages and stillbirths in pregnant women. Now, if you have these products in your freezer, you can check the FDA website for identifying information to see if you need to throw it out, and you can also return the product to a store for a full refund. Well, trade talks spur growth on Wall Street. Fox Business correspondent Jackie DeAngelis has this story and more in tonight's Fox Means Business.
Call it a trade bump. The Dow, the Nasdaq, the S&P 500 all finishing higher Tuesday as investors react to news of renewed trade talks with China. Facebook becoming a face bank. The social media giant leading a group to launch a digital currency called Libra in 2020. It also has plans to unveil a digital wallet app to store and send the new cryptocurrency. And Best Buy is betting on fitness. The electronics retailer announcing that it'll soon begin selling high-tech fitness equipment at its stores. Things like flywheel bikes and rowing machines are expected to be available in 100 stores by the end of the year. Tired of working from home? You're not alone. According to a new survey from research firm Clutch, more than 8 in 10 workers say they prefer some office time over working fully from home. When they do go to work, more than half say they want private office spaces over an open floor plan or a cubicle. That's business. I'm Jackie DeAngelis.
Still to come on Fox 14, 17-year-olds are no longer being tried as adults in Louisiana. What crimes are protected and how the raise the age law changes are panning out thus far. And Michigan police officers are on administrative leave after dragging and punching a teen girl on camera. Keep it right here on Fox 14 for more.
For 50 years, Cracker Barrel has been cooking home-style favorites to perfection. We thought we'd celebrate by making our golden anniversary extra golden. Introducing new, crispy, juicy Southern Fried Chicken. Now at Cracker Barrel.
Want a relaxing pedicure?
Relaxing pedicure? My feet get so dry and cracked, I need serious relief. That's why I use O'Keeffe's for healthy feet. Guaranteed relief for extremely dry, cracked feet. Thanks to O'Keeffe's, I got my feet back.
You gotta get on down to Don Killen's Country Village Manufactured Homes. We got double wides, singles too. We got a price that's right for you. You gotta get on down to Don Killen's. You gotta pass the rest to get to the best. Manufactured homes, locally owned. Don Killen's Country Village Manufactured Homes. 5 miles south on 165.
News sponsored by Willis Knighton, home of the healthcare heroes.
The Animal House is your local pet store, Cypress Street, West Monroe. I'm behind on payments, and I'm afraid they're going to garnish my paycheck. What do I do?
Stay calm and call Sam. Let's stop the garnishments before they start, because bankruptcy isn't what we do. It's all we do. Call Sam.
And now, your Call Sam forecast first with Chief Meteorologist Jared Floyd.
Mississippi River in Vicksburg continuing a slow fall, now back out of major flood stage and expected to stay there. Still in flood stage, though, and still pretty close to major flood stage. But those slow falls will continue over the next several days and several weeks. It may take the better part of the month of July for the Mississippi to get out of flood stage. We look for overnight lows tonight to drop back in most spots into low 70s, but scattered storms ramping back up through the day tomorrow. That's your forecast first for this half hour. Fox 14 News at 9 continues.
You're watching Fox 14 News at 9 with Sarah Scarlett, Chief Meteorologist Jared Floyd, and Sports with Spencer Tillis.
Thank you for choosing Fox 14. I'm Chelsea Jones in for Sarah Scarlett. Topping our second half hour on Fox, changes are underway in the juvenile justice system. It's called Raise the Age, and it now allows teens under 17 to be tried as juveniles. Fox 14's Ashley French talked to local prosecutors and defense lawyers about how they are putting the changes into effect.
Back in March, Louisiana changed the law, meaning 17-year-olds will stay in the juvenile system instead of being tried as an adult. Some residents call it a mistake.
Stick with the regular age limit, which is 16, because we already consider that as adult when we're 17. So it wouldn't change nothing either way it goes.
Louisiana is giving prosecutors until June 2020 to make the full transition. It's complicated.
You could actually have somebody, depending on the kind of charge they have, with juvenile charges for some things and adult charges for other things. So that's taking a little work to try to facilitate that.
Assistant District Attorney Johnny Sanders says how the law deals with juveniles can vary depending on their circumstances.
You know, if you've never had trouble before, if you're a first offender, maybe even a second offender for something nonviolent, and we have diversion programs that we want to try to get people help in and keep them out of the adult system. And we're going to do the same thing for the 17-year-olds.
Defense attorneys say they simply need more lawyers to handle juvenile cases.
It requires people who do work in juvenile court. It requires special training. You know, the bottom line is that we're looking towards what long-term outcomes are going to be for juvenile defendants.
Above all, prosecutors, defenders say they want to keep their community and young offenders safe.
This is what I tell every group of kids that we go talk to. Be careful who your friends are.
Reporting in Monroe, Ashley French, Fox 14 News.
In July 2020, violent offenders will also be included in that law. This means that all underage offenders will have the opportunity to go to a juvenile facility rather than jail. While a morning wreck claims the life of a worker of the Department of Transportation and Development, we want to warn you the details are disturbing. It happened on LA Highway 563 just south of I-20 in Simsboro. State police say 50-year-old Johnny Cole of West Monroe was standing behind a parked tractor trailer when he was hit by 42-year-old Michael Moore. Moore was driving an 18-wheeler and didn't notice the DOTD truck stopped in the road. Moore was unable to stop and struck Cole before hitting the back of that tractor trailer. Cole was pronounced dead at the scene. Moore was cited for careless operation, and the crash remains under investigation. While an Arkansas woman is suffering major injuries after a vehicle hit her as she crossed the street in Camden. Police reports allege that she was in the crosswalk on Washington Street when an oncoming vehicle struck her near the end of the walkway. The officer and the witness claim that the driver was texting, and the driver denies those allegations. The victim has now suffering from broken legs, broken pelvis, and several internal injuries.
Right-of-way at all pedestrian crosswalks, and as drivers, it's our duty to obey the sign and to pay attention in those crosswalks.
The driver was arrested at the scene but has since bonded out. She is charged with failure to yield to a pedestrian, no proof of insurance, reckless driving, and texting while driving. Well, the Sparta Aquifer is a major natural provider of water to the Arklamas, but it's losing more water than predicted. Fox 14's Brian Briggs tells us why this year's numbers are a major problem, but there could still be ways to solve it.
Every 5 years, the United States Geological Survey releases a usage survey from the Sparta Aquifer, and the results from the beginning of this year show the groundwater source is losing more than anticipated.
We have seen an uptick in our usage from the Sparta Aquifer. 2015 showed that we were using around 60 million gallons of water a day.
And decades of net loss have led to less than ideal water. Industrial use has let up on the pole in the Twin Cities, but population growth is now to blame on the larger pole. But there are ways to solve this issue, with the main one being repairs to infrastructure.
How much water is lost due to dated infrastructure? In 2010, LRWA conducted this study and found that there is a 10 million gallon a day loss rate across our 16 parishes from the Sparta Aquifer.
In addition to collecting more up-to-date data,
we've got to find a way to get our data to get a better understanding of where we're at currently, not where we were 4 or 5 years ago.
And other water sources above ground are being considered as well.
If you'll think about it, it's like a pothole on the highway. It's where all the dirtiest water collects, the hardest to treat.
Reporting, Brian Briggs, Fox 14 News.
If any formal plans or data comes in the surroundings of the aquifer, we will provide an update as soon as possible. While an investigation is underway into 2 police officers who were caught on body cam video punching and dragging a 16-year-old girl, Meredith Wood has the latest.
A 16-year-old girl being dragged and then punched repeatedly. The way this arrest went down is what has 2 Lansing police officers possibly in trouble.
It is the policy of the Lansing Police Department that officers will only use force that is objectively reasonable.
Police say the 2 teens, a 16-year-old girl and a 15-year-old boy, were resisting arrest and were wanted for probation violation, runaway, and escape from custody warrants. Lansing's police chief says the female officer who threw punches to the girl's thigh was injured during the arrest, trying to get the girl to stop kicking the squad car's door, and that the strikes are a commonly used technique.
Common peroneal is the term that we use as a distraction in order for her to remove her leg from outside the vehicle to get her into the back of a patrol car so they could close the door.
Those officers are now on administrative leave pending the investigation. One of the teen's mothers says the incident only damages the reputation of police.
How are they going to feel safe? They don't.
The Michigan Fraternal Order of Police cautioning those who view the video, saying in a statement, quote, "A full and complete investigation needs to be completed before passing judgment on their actions." I'm Meredith Wood reporting.
The police chief says that internal investigation should be wrapped up in about 90 days. Well, President Trump protesters are expressing their displeasure as we inch closer to the president announcing his re-election campaign. Anti-Trump activists gathered outside the Amway Center in Orlando this afternoon. Many are protesting the president's handling of Puerto Rico, immigration, and LGBTQ rights. A larger-than-life Trump baby also made an appearance at the event, dubbed the Win with Love rally. Hundreds have lined up as early as yesterday morning to catch a glimpse of the highly anticipated rally. Over 20,000 people are expected to be inside that arena when the president makes his announcement. Jared, that weather, it's raining and it's hot.
Well, actually, it's not raining right now, Chelsea. Sorry.
I know.
But you know it's coming. Forecast. That's the most important thing.
Right.
And in all seriousness, even though we get later in the season and severe weather is not as frequent, something we need to keep an eye out for tomorrow. Take a look at what's in your forecast as we head through the next couple of days. The heat and humidity is around, but those strong storms are a possibility tonight or tomorrow night. Forecast coming up next.
Who will win the Twin City Outdoor Yard of the Year contest and receive these incredible prizes valued at $6,000? Be watching this Thursday on NBC 10 News at 6 when we'll announce the grand prize winner. Brought to you by Twin City Outdoor Equipment.
The Twin City Mayor's Committee on Disabilities is holding a fundraising banquet to recognize our scholarship recipients and to honor individuals and businesses that advocate for the disabled in Ouachita Parish. Join us July 16th, 6 to 9 p.m. in the West Monroe Convention Center. Get your tickets today.
I'm behind on payments, and I'm afraid they're going to garnish my paycheck. What do I do?
Stay calm and call Sam. Let's stop the garnishments before they start, because bankruptcy isn't what we do. It's all we do. Call Sam.
Are you a pilot? Do you have access to a plane? Then come fly with Pilots for Patients. Make that $100 hamburger worth just a little bit more and discover the joy of volunteer flying. PFP is a fleet of pilots who fly Louisiana-based patients to their treatment facilities. Our pilots fly 172s, jets, and everything in between. Use your passion and love for aviation to become a hero in your community and join the PFP fleet. To become a pilot, call the number on your screen or visit our website today.
Big disgrace, waving your banner. We will.
Get 0 for 72 and $2,500 in total savings on F-150, plus $750 appreciation cash for military and first responders.
Is your favorite room outside? Are you as comfortable on your patio as you are in your living room? When you shop at Sleepy Hollow Outdoor, your outdoor living space will become your favorite place and show off your style. Sleepy Hollow Outdoor has hundreds of choices in aluminum, wrought iron, polywood, wicker, and more, plus a large selection of accessories to complement your home. The highest quality materials and construction ensure your satisfaction for years of enjoyment. Visit Sleepy Hollow Outdoor for the largest selection available today. 9th and Louisville, Monroe.
This is the Durabit of the all-new Chevy Silverado.
That is huge.
It offers a built-in 120-volt outlet. Wow. Plug that in for me.
Oh, holy smokes.
And the all-new Silverado has more trim levels than any other pickup.
Oh, wow. There's something for all of us.
It's time to upgrade. Get 0% financing for 72 months, or get a total value of over $8,700 on this all-new Silverado. Find new roads at your local Chevy dealer.
They're going to take my car. What do I do?
Before the repo man pays you a visit, call Sam. Sam can help you protect your assets and get back items already taken. Bankruptcy isn't what we do. It's all we do. Call Sam.
Live Storm Tracker Doppler radar, sponsored by bankruptcy attorney E. Orem Young. Now, Storm Tracker weather with Chief Meteorologist Jared Floyd.
Look at the new live storm tracker Doppler radar brought to you by E. Orb Young. Clear around the radar side for the time being. We've had some passing clouds from time to time through the course of the day. Even some very isolated specks across the river parishes, not really amounting to much. Our attention really turns to a frontal system that will move through tomorrow and a deepening upper disturbance that's associated with a lot of this rainfall. Clusters of storms are already developing from just north of Tulsa, stretching back into far southeastern Kansas and far southwestern Missouri. All of this will eventually move southeastward in some form. Not necessarily these actual storms. We don't need to start extrapolating when this storm is going to arrive in this area. But a lot of the features that are left over from some of these thunderstorms, maybe even some outflow boundaries and smaller scale features in the atmosphere, could be what a lot of our storms branch off of as we work through the day tomorrow. See a new severe thunderstorm watch that's been issued for much of the Red River Valley and stretching into southern portions of Oklahoma. This whole frontal system is moving eastward. And again, a slow mover at its onset. But the severe weather threat is as follows. The slight risk, the level 2 of 5 categories, is out for tomorrow, and that's for most of the Arklamis. The lowest of the 5 categories, that marginal risk, a little bit farther southward. Reason being, again, we lose a lot of the ingredients that are feeding these thunderstorms as we work into the late night hours tomorrow night and into early Thursday morning. So as these storms get farther southward, later into the night and early morning, they should start to fizzle pretty quickly. But I did want to show this to you. This is a future tracker showing instability in the atmosphere. And again, tomorrow, as we get into the late afternoon hours, these are some pretty high instability numbers. Really, what's driving that is the heat and the humidity. That's it. And again, summertime heat and humidity can give you a lot of instability. So that's where we expect a lot of these storms to branch off of tomorrow. Then notice how we lose that instability late tomorrow night as the rain and storms move through. And now I know you're looking at Thursday and going, holy moly, look at all of that. Well, you got to have more than just instability in the atmosphere. You need a trigger, you need moisture in the atmosphere, you need a lot of different ingredients, and that doesn't pan out for Thursday. So while the atmosphere is extremely unstable, there's no lifting mechanism, no upper level disturbance, no front to work with, and we've really kind of rained out most of the rainfall at that point. So as we work into Thursday afternoon, while it will be warm and humid, there's really not a threat for much in terms of leftover showers and storms. Again, you need a lot more than just one ingredient to generate rainfall and strong to severe thunderstorm activity. That's why it's just really amazing to watch how all those ingredients come together so frequently during the spring months. Mid to upper 70s for most of us is this hour. 80 in Monroe and Greenville. We'll look for lows tonight to drop back into the low 70s. Few clouds, staying warm and muggy. High temperatures tomorrow back in the low end of the 90s. Scattered storms possible really through much of the day. Again, we could see some non-severe storms early in the day, but as we progress through the afternoon and evening, the threat for more organized storms will linger. Have multiple ways of receiving severe weather alerts tomorrow night just in case. We'll look for those highs to stay in the low to mid-90s. Heat and humidity really take the forecast as we go into the weekend. So as we go into Friday and Saturday, make sure you're staying hydrated. More news right after the break. You're watching Fox 14 News at 9.
How would you like to consolidate your credit card bills, all loans, medical bills, all your bills into one payment of just $100 per month? That's the power of bankruptcy. If you qualify, just $100 per month. Call the bankruptcy specialist, E. Orem Young.
So now, Dish has over 80,000 on-demand movies and shows. 80,000. Why? I mean, it would take you years to get through 80,000. Thing is, it's not about 80,000. It's about one. That one movie you saw that one time on a first date with that one girl. That's why.
Dish. Tuned in to you.
It all felt like a dream. The years felt like a breeze as they passed us by.
The 2019 Toyota Highlander. The best seats in the house.
Right now, get $2,500 customer cash, or qualified buyers get 0% APR financing for 60 months on a sophisticated new 2019 Highlander. Toyota, let's go places.
No. 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 Maybe. Yes. Yes.
Low rates, no commissioned agents, lowest down payment, and we won't sell you expensive add-ons.
Go Auto is my perfect match. Greg can really save me money.
Greg really is the Go Auto guy.
Give us a call and speak to one of our non-commissioned agents. Visit our website or stop by one of our convenience stores and start saving today.
If it's cooking for the family or cooking for a living, J. Russell Kitchen and Restaurant Supply has what you need. Anything from heavy appliances down to utensils and aprons. It's all here at J. Russell Kitchen and Restaurant Supply. Now open Saturdays 10 to 2.
This is the Durabit of the all-new Chevy Silverado.
That is huge.
It offers a built-in 120-volt outlet. Wow. Plug that in for me.
Oh, holy smokes.
And the all-new Silverado has more trim levels than any other pickup.
Oh, wow. There's something for all of us.
It's time to upgrade.
Get 0% financing for 72 months or get a total value of over $8,700 on this all-new Silverado. See your Super Chevy dealer today.
Severe weather can hit at any time of day or night. Be safe and prepared with the KTVE KARD weather app for Apple and Android. Brought to you by Sam Henry, the bankruptcy attorney.
How would you like to consolidate your credit card bills, all loans, medical bills, all your bills into one payment of just $100 per month? That's the power of bankruptcy. If you qualify, just $100 per month. Call the bankruptcy specialist, E. Orem Young.
And now, sports with Spencer Tillis.
Well, school's out and summer camps are rolling on across the Arklamis, and there was a good one going on today over at ULM. The Warhawks football team welcoming a few new faces out onto their field.
1, 2, 3,
ULM's football team had new recruits on campus today as the med camps of Louisiana stopped by to have a little fun and show the Warhawks how it's done.
I love it. I love it. It's just feel like you're scoring a touchdown whenever they run in there and they do their end zone celebration. It's a great, great feeling.
The 24 campers got the opportunity to check out some of the facilities, run through some fun drills, and even got to hang out with some of the players, coaches, and cheerleaders all afternoon long.
It was kind of cool because just giving back to the community, you know, seeing smiles on their face, everything, you know, giving them the time of their lives. I just love giving back, man, getting to see the smiles on the kids' faces, man. It's just nothing like it, you know. Playing football, you know, you're in a position where you have things better than other people, and it just feels good to give back.
Throughout the course of the day, more and more of the campers started showing that they had some natural talent for the game as well.
Training and playing football next year. I like just college the best. So next year, I'm going to play football.
Some of those guys got a few better feet than me, man. I love their energy and just their want to do everything that we can. I love them. Some of the kids, I mean, they ballers. Some of them was ballers for real.
But what today was really about was more than just having fun while teaching some football. It was about making a positive impact in the lives of these young kids.
I am into sports. My dad, well, he's going to be so happy when he sees the football thing. It's like a lot of fun.
Well done, guys. Meanwhile, Arkansas's baseball season came to an end yesterday as the Hogs came up short against Texas Tech in the College Baseball World Series. Now, certainly not the result that they were hoping for, but all things considered, this was a pretty incredible season. Not only was this the first time that Arkansas had made back-to-back trips to Omaha, but this one came after they had 11 guys drafted the year before. They were young, they were talented, and they had a great run this year.
Now, it's time for your Go Nation Report, sponsored by Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys.
Some big news and a big contract coming up as ESPN's Diana Rossini reporting that the New Orleans Saints and their star wide receiver Michael Thomas are, of course, progressing in talks, and even saying that the team is comfortable making him the highest paid receiver in the NFL. Here's the company he would keep with that. Couple Louisiana boys on this list. Odell Beckham Jr., of course, at the top, making $90 million overall. He signed that with the Giants. Now he's with Cleveland, but you see the former Letcher Bulldog, Jarvis Landry, also on this list, and a former Saint, Brandon Cooks, also coming in at $81 million. A nice payday, but what does the guy at the center of these negotiations also have to say about it?
We've had some conversations, and I like keeping that close to the vest until there's something to report. But look, we love what Mike's done for us. He's a fantastic player, one of the best at his positions in the league, and hopefully we can keep him a Saint for a long time as well.
For your Go Nation report here in Baton Rouge, I'm Brian Holland.
Thank you, Brian. That is going to be it for sports. We'll have one last look at your forecast coming up next.
Folks, this is big. The bigger thing sells better than Interstate. A 2500 mega cab, 20% off. A 3500 crew cab, 20% off. A Bighorn crew, 25% off. At Interstate Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat in West Monroe.
Honey, this Geek Speed internet is ridiculously fast.
We are seriously keeping up with the Joneses.
Keeping up with the Fords.
Keeping up with the Garcias.
The Romeros.
Willands.
Right. No one's going to have internet like this.
Xfinity makes keeping up with the Joneses simple, easy, awesome. Check out Gig Speed Internet or any of our other amazing speed options. Get started now for as low as $20 a month for 12 months. Plus, see how you can save hundreds when you get internet and mobile together. Click, call, or visit a store today.
Up for anything? Nissan is. And Nissan SUVs have advanced tech to help guide you to the perfect spot. Stay connected. And take any trail. Nissan SUVs. Up for whatever you are. For a limited time, save up to $3,500 or get a low $199 per month lease on the 2019 Rogue.
We are Floorworks Flooring America here in West Monroe on Cypress Street. We would love to help you know what's going to work best with your budget as well as your lifestyle. Please come and see us for any of your flooring, countertop, and decorating needs.
For more expert advice, log on to myarclemis.com.
This is it. It's the summer sales event going on now at Sparks Nissan in Monroe. Get huge summer savings on every new Nissan model, like a new 2019 Nissan Altima with emergency braking, rear camera, and power driver's seat. Now only $21,999 or just $339 down, $339 a month. New Rogue Sport SUVs with blind spot sensor, rear camera, and Bluetooth, only $20,699. This is it. Your chance to save big. Now at Sparks Nissan in Monroe and drivesparks.com today.
When's the best time to cut your lawn? Just tune into the mowing forecast and get all the weather factors that play a role in lawn care.
The Mowing Forecast on Fox 14 News at 9. Brought to you by 3B Outdoors.
It's the Jeep Celebration event at Interstate. All remaining 2018 Wrangler Unlimiteds, 20% off. A Grand Cherokee, $28,990. A Dodge Journey, $14,990. At Interstate Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat in West Monroe.
Finally, the 7-day forecast shows afternoon highs low 90s. Again, we'll keep an eye on the scattered storms, especially late in the day tomorrow. Those are the ones evening into the late night hours. Those are the ones that have the potential of being strong, possibly severe. Have multiple ways of receiving severe weather alerts tomorrow night before you go to bed, please. We'll look for those storms to continue early in the day Thursday, and then rain breaks up for the weekend. Much more isolated in nature by then, with highs back in the low to mid-90s and morning lows generally in the mid-70s. Again, nothing out of the ordinary. We've done severe weather before. We'll do it again. Just have ways of receiving severe weather alerts just in case.
All right. Well, thanks, Jared. It's been a pleasure, but that's it for us tonight. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Have a good night.